Lesnar crossed the line. That line should have been crossed in 2007. TNA can claim they were changing the face of professional wrestling. They would have fucking changed it if this man joined the company. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Wrestling. We're here for your daily wrestling news video that we don't give you daily, but we're thinking about doing it in the future. So a lot of news here to talk about today on this Monday morning video. But no news is bigger than Kurt Angle, who recently came out on his podcast and talked about the time where Brock Lesnar was willing to join TNA.
Aye, and he came out and said, okay, Brock calls me, he's not in the WWE, he says, listen, man, can you get me at TNA? I probably shouldn't even be saying this, but you know what? Brock doesn't care. He said, hey, what are you making? I said what I was making. He said, if you can get me that, I'll come. I approached TNA, and they said, no, we're not going to give him that kind of money. What was Kurt Angle on's the big question?
I'd say Kurt Angle's on a lot because, first of all, Kurt Angle in 2006 wasn't in a good place. And that's kind of why he left WWE in the first... Well, left, kicked out, whatever, right? But the point being is, I don't think Kurt Angle would have went and wrestled in TNA for chips. For peanuts. I think TNA had to be offering Kurt Angle big money. I think Kurt Angle would have been on something similar to what he was getting at WWE.
Well, it says here, I don't think it was enough to bring in another guy for 7 figures a year, which means he was on at least $1 million.
I'd say he'd be getting about 2.5 mil, 3 mil.
And you know what? If it's Brock, it would have to be about that.
And you think about it, for TNA, that's less dates and stuff, less house shows, which is probably right up Brock's alley.
But you can laugh, you can cry, hell, you're all going to be doing that. But I mean, to see if Brock joined, that could have swung massively.
Could have swung. And also, you think about it, if Brock joins in 2007, you've got Heyman, who's just recently left the WWE. He was a free agent for there were a few years between him leaving ECW and him coming back to WWE. There was always talk about Heyman potentially going to TNA. Maybe if Brock Lesnar was in TNA, that could have persuaded Heyman to go there. And I don't know, I think TNA could have been in a much better place. Not that TNA was good around that time, let's not make any mistake about it. TNA was great, but I'm pretty sure with Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman, it could have been even greater. Would have been some great matches just think of the matches Brock Lesnar could have had.
Brock Lesnar against AJ Styles.
Brock Lesnar versus Samoa Joe before he got fat.
Brock versus Sting.
Brock versus Steiner.
Come on, damn it.
Brock literally killing everybody in the X division.
Brock versus the main event Mafia.
Brock would probably be in the main event Mafia.
I know.
Brock could be in Team Canada. Actually give it a bit of name value. Team Canada. You know,
Brock versus Jeff Hardy.
Brock fucking eating a guitar shot for Jeff Jarrett and then kicking his ass. Ending the real reign of terror. But yeah, there's just so much good things that could have happened with Brock. But Kurt Angle basically put this down to TNA. Not that they didn't believe that Brock was worth that kind of money. They just couldn't afford to pay Brock that kind of money, as they were already paying Angle a very hefty sum. And of course, Sting was in TNA making a good bit of money as well. And I mean, the Dixie Carter and her family had money. I don't think they had enough money to literally throw around. But I mean, hindsight, they should have.
Yeah, absolutely. Should have done it. But then again, would have been on part-time? But this is Brock 15 years ago.
Yeah. And if Brock gets into TNA, what happens with his UFC career? Does it happen?
Exactly.
Is it something he wanted to do? Maybe because Bobby Lashley did that between Bellator and TNA. He was in TNA at the same time he was fighting in MMA. So could it have been a 50-50 thing? Could Brock want it to be wrestling while being in MMA, or was he willing to maybe not do MMA at all? We don't know. But Brock Lesnar not being in TNA, for me, is a shame.
He should have came, but he didn't. And Ric Flair was a guy that was in TNA, and he says if he ever wrestled again, he'd be a lot better than during his last match.
Before we talk about Ric Flair's next potential match, though, let's talk about his TNA run. I feel like Ric Flair done TNA dirty. Always spoke bad of TNA before he went. Remember, he got asked in an interview about TNA in like 2008, and he says, "What's TNA?" So he was trying to downplay TNA as if he's never heard of it. Then when he's retired for WWE and he realises that he's not ready to give it up, and WWE are like, "No, we've already give you your retirement run, Rick. He then decides to go to TNA. Gets paid a good bit of money in TNA to literally embarrass himself, have his fucking pants pulled down, moon the entire fucking, viewers watching at home. Like I said, get paid good money, take up a spot for a couple of years, and then as soon as he left TNA, continued to bash it, say that it's the biggest mistake of his career, going to that shithole, and I don't know, I don't like Ric Flair for that. But I don't think it's the only bad thing Ric Flair's done in his career. He's got a lot of questionable things you could say about the Nature Boy.
Aye, but you know what? He gave us that Jay Lethal promo, so it was all worth it. I don't care what he says.
Yeah,
it was
I tell you what, if he was on seven figures for a couple of years, that Jay Lethal woo-off was worth it alone. Like, I'd pay, I'd pay seven figures to hear it again.
For a bunch of matches like that.
Woo-off 2.0.
God damn right, but would it be better? 2022/23.
No, the Ric Flair's came out and said last year he was saying in the build-up to his match he would be better than he was in 99.
99?
Yeah.
Not wait.
Not 99.
99?
Yep.
1999.
I think you can make a case he was better in fucking 09 than he was in 99. But no, his return match sucked. Let's make no mistake about it. But Ric Flair has spoke again about coming out of retirement, as Ricky Steamboat was having a match lately, and Ric Flair says that he thinks he can do it one more time. He thinks he's got one more match in him. He says that Ricky is the best babyface in the history of the business, and he says that if he is to come back, he will get himself in good shape. So, I mean, I'm not sure if he's kind of insinuating he wants to have a match here with Ricky Steamboat, but this would be a disaster in my opinion.
Well, no, there's rumours that Ric Flair could be entering the 2023 Royal Rumble.
I just don't see how you get Ric Flair up and over the top rope safely at this stage.
I mean, I've seen we could be getting Austin, Rock, Cena and Flair in the Rumble. Rumours of that. Imagine those four in the Rumble.
Anyway, Ric Flair says, like I say about myself, I could wrestle again right now and I'd be a lot better than I was in my last match, because when you're going away that long, you forget about little things that'll make a difference and you spend too much time getting in shape for it. But you don't think about little things like dehydrating. So Ric Flair's basically putting the failure of his last match down to dehydrating, but let's be honest.
He was fucked.
See, before he started dehydrating, he didn't start the match good, he didn't end the match good. It was a fucking disaster, and I doubt that he could do much better.
See, if it was dehydrating, can you not see when he got tagged out, which was like 99% of the time? Yeah, exactly. He couldn't even move, man. He was lying on the ground, done.
And what moves did he take? He didn't take his patented back body drop, for maybe good reason.
Imagine he took the suplex off the ladder.
Yeah, it looked like he was going to take a suplex off the top rope, then he thought, you know what, screw this. Because he was kind of like sitting on the top turnbuckle, then decided to hop down off it, so... Well, fell.
Slide.
So, I don't know, Ric Flair, would you want to see him wrestle again? In my opinion, no. I love Ric Flair. Great wrestler.
Fuck it, he's the one more time.
Nah, I think he's done. I mean, is this guy want to die?
He's not done the last match.
He was like, but I mean, what's it going to take? Him to die in the ring or something?
Probably.
Maybe.
Yeah, it would draw.
Maybe come back as a... Even then, he looks like shit.
Would it not be fitting though for him to die in the ring, rather than, I don't know.
You remember at Survivor Series 2001, Freddie Blassie gave that speech.
Stand up.
To me, that's all about Ric Flair can do. Just have him be wheeled about in a wheelchair and then he stands up the odd time.
Who could fucking work? Could Freddie Blassie work a match?
No. Moving on, speaking of somebody that can work a match, Dustin Rhodes. But for how much longer? Well, not much longer, because Dustin Rhodes has revealed that 2023 will be his last year in ring wrestling. He's not said he's going to step away from the wrestling business, but he has said that from an in-ring standpoint, 2023 will be his last year. So we've got, what, about maybe 390 days left, 392 days left of Dustin Rhodes wrestling. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, he could retire on the first, mate, but I get your point. Thoughts? You know what? He should have retired when he fought Cody Rhodes a couple of years ago.
I think that was the... I
don't care about him. His views are pish. His political views are awful. The sooner Goldust goes, the better, man. He literally he literally hasn't been relevant in about 20 years. He did a few alright things with R-Truth, but if we're talking about actual relevancy, it's about 2002 for the guy.
Yeah, ever since his tag team with Booker T ended, in my opinion, he's done nothing. He had a couple of runs in TNA, Black Rain.
Fat Rain, Skinny Rain, Shite Rain.
And none of it was good. Oh, he had a tag team with Cody Rhodes and R-Truth, and he had a decent match with Randy Orton, but really, who cares about that? Not me. And
even his own dad didn't care about him, man. Come on.
And there's people talking about potentially him spending his last year in WWE. I think that would be the wrong thing to do. In my opinion, him going back to WWE, it would just hamper Cody's run, because you could see WWE just throwing them together in a stupid tag team, which tag teams just don't really draw, unless you're an actual tag team. I mean, let Cody Rhodes shine, let Cody Rhodes get his main event push and Goldust. I mean, if you want to come back and maybe work as a producer or a ring agent or something like that, then do so, but...
I could see Goldust as a GM. I think it'd be pretty funny interactions. We GM Goldust. No?
Aye, maybe.
Goldust and Booker T on commentary for NXT.
Oh, aye. I'll give you a slurp of my Slurpee if you give me a bite of your wiener. And on that note, guys, that's what the news video is going to end there. So yeah, let us know. Brock Lesnar on TNA, did you want it? Ric Flair, one more match, do you want it? And Dustin Rhodes wrestling in 2023, do you care?
Are you greeting? Till next time, though. Peace.